This is MEI Statistics Minor, Bivariate Data 1, Scatter Diagrams, 1.1, Introduction to Bivariate Data. So the meaning of bivariate data can be seen by pulling it apart. It means data involving two variables. So bivariate data is data involving two variables where each value of one variable is paired with a value of the other variable. That can be best seen through an example. So this table shows the land area and population of the countries of the world. It's the first few rows of this table. So this data is bivariate because it contains two variables, population and area, and they are paired by country. So each data point here is paired with another data point, each of which correspond to a country. On the other hand here are two lists of weather statistics. So the highest recorded temperature in the home nations, England, Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland, and rainfall in London by year, millimetres. This is not bivariate. Because even though it does have two variables, temperature and rainfall, they are not paired in any meaningful way. We can't pair, for instance, the year 2014 with any of the home nations. So that is not bivariate data. Bivariate data comes in two broad types. So the first case we call random on non-random. So here only one of those variables can be considered a random variable. This usually occurs in an experiment where one variable is controlled by an experimenter, the independent variable or the control variable, and the other, the dependent variable, is measured. So, a horticulturist is investigating the yield of tomato plants when different levels of fertilizer are used. This data is bivariate because it's going to be paired by an individual plant. We're going to be looking at the yield of an individual plant and the level of fertilizer used on an individual plant. And it is random on non-random because the level of fertilizer is not a random variable. It's controlled by the horticulturist, and any errors in measuring the fertilizer will be negligible. The yield is a random variable. There will be deviations from the, in inverted commas, true value that a perfect experimenter would observe from a perfect experiment, which of course doesn't really exist. But there may also be errors in the measurement. So that yield there is going to be a random variable. The other case is random on random, where both variables can be considered as random variables. So for instance, a sample of Year 13 students are taken, and each student's height and weight is recorded. The data is bivariate, paired by individual student. We're going to be taking each student's height and each student's weight, so it is paired sensibly. And it is random on random. Why? Both randoms are random variables. Neither are controlled by an experimenter, and there is no true weight for a given height. There's always going to be a distribution of weights for a given height, and no true height for a given weight. There's always going to be a distribution of heights for a given weight. So, for example 5, we need to decide whether the data is random on non-random or random on random. A random sample of trees is taken, the girth of the trunk is recorded along with the height of the tree. It is paired by the tree, so it is bivariate data. Well, neither variable is controlled by the experimenter, and there is no true height for a given girth or vice versa. So that is random on random. A marine biologist is studying the distribution of a species of crab in coastal rock pools. In a suitable location, she randomly picks a sample of areas with 1 square metre. For each area, she then records the distance from the sea along with the number of crabs she can find in that area. Well, we might expect the number of crabs to be affected by the distance, but neither variable is being controlled by the biologist. So both are still random. It is still random on random. If we tweak that slightly, and in a suitable location she picks a sample of areas of 1 square metre, each of which is a multiple of 5 metres from the sea, then those are being controlled. She's controlling the distance from the sea, and it is only the count of the crabs that is the random variable. So that is random on non-random. In our next video, we're going to be having a look at scatter diagrams.